Let's talk about fracking a little bit. You mentioned that in one of your articles. It's a way of obtaining fossil fuels from rock.
Uh-huh.
What's the concern with that procedure?
More dirty business,
Okay.
and real dirty business. And I know about this. You know what? After graduate school, I actually worked for Standard Oil of Indiana,
Okay.
oil industry. And my job description was as if they were concerned about the environment. Ha, ha, ha. Right. But anyway, Standard Oil of Indiana, south side of Chicago in Whiting. The people were very nice. I mean, the colleagues over there, absolutely magnificent, et cetera, et cetera. And when they saw the need to find better ways to recover natural gas from the ground. It's actually locked in some structures underground. And when they pump in some water and some other mixture, it fractures that. That's what the fracking is called about, right? And it releases the gas, and the gas comes out, and they collect it. It's relatively cheap the way to do it right now. But the point here is, and that's the real very important point, water and finely ground sand will do the trick. Now suddenly somebody comes up and they dump toxic chemicals into that mix to the hilt. Oh, well, it goes deep under the ground and it's not into your groundwater. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, there's zillions of tons of these poisons that they're dumping in there. In my opinion, that's just a typical, it's a way to dump toxic chemicals for which they would have to pay dearly if they would pay for it for companies to dispose of these chemicals, right? I mean, it's all money, money, money. Money and dirty business, right? I mean, somebody asked if aliens invaded your planet, they would poison your groundwater, they would cut down your tree, they change the climate, right, and so on. Would you resist, right? Actually, but when our own government, our own people are doing that, you know, the result is when it comes up to a vote, like what it did with, 37 and whatever in California, and then you get outweighed with money. Like the pro-proposition 37, I believe, had $2 million, and the opposition spent $44 million with total lying. Like scientists and professors and doctors see nothing wrong with genetically modified food. Pardon me, I'm a scientist, I'm a professor of chemistry, and I know what I'm talking about, right? My undergraduate work was at the University of Munich, School of at the Medical School, Physiology, under Nobel laureate Buchanan. I got my PhD from Stony Brook, which is now recognized as one of the top universities in the medical science, professor of chemistry, aging research, etc. And don't you include me in that classification that we see nothing wrong with this garbage.
When you talk about fracking, we live in a state that's become very popular now, in at least in the farmland area, and there's been reports now of livestock dying and a lot of animals. Is that from the groundwater? Is it from other things that are up in the air, the exposure to?
They are telling you that they're injected so deep that it will never come out, but it does come out. You turn on the water and you can light up the water, right? I mean, the gas is right in there. The toxic chemicals that come up, just by accident, only in this case. I mean, how much baloney are we supposed to take, you know? And cattle get sick, cattle get sterile, and so on, have diseases, and you find all this garbage. It's not, I mean, it's about worse than in California after World War II, dumping DDT in the ocean. We're still suffering from this crap, you know? And it gets to the point where then, for example, pregnant women in some areas where they dump these toxic chemicals after World War II, women are not, they tell pregnant women not to eat it, right? Because there's too many toxins in there, right? And when you follow up on it, you can do an adipose tissue analysis on people living in specific areas. And you will be able to demonstrate the presence of those toxic chemicals in their bodies. And we know that those chemicals are endocrine disruptors, besides being extremely toxic, right? And it goes into other areas. Look, for example, in the ocean's mercury. I mean, go to the Bible. I mean, what is the most basic media to feed the people. It's the oceans with the fish. It's the best food, the best everything. And here they are dumping it with our so-called clean coal. In the U.S. alone, we are dumping 50 tons, not 50 pounds, 50 tons, thousands of pounds of mercury into the environment, into the ocean. Okay, and here comes the big joke. We like to buy cheap products made in China. Well, guess what we're doing? We are sending raw coal to China. They burn it raw as it is, without cleaning it. And then, therefore, they can have cheap labor, cheap products, energy. And that's what we're getting their benefit. I mean, we're paying for this nonsense. No? Washington needs a wake-up call from the scientists. Now, it's happening. I mean, I see it in many different areas. I mean, not only in this field, like, for example, in the preventive medicine field. I am connected to lots of researchers all around the world. And especially with the heart recovery that we discussed in a previous interview, right? I mean, we got lots of attention. I'm in a medical textbook and so on and so on. And a total heart recovery from AFib irregularities, totally out of balance, left atrium enlarged, totally back to normal within a few months. So I know people all around the world. I mean, I gave talks in Bangkok, in Mexico City, in Germany, and invited to speak in Germany, in Russia, in China, and so on and so on. You know, and I'm connected to the scientists there. And the scientists are very much in agreement that we need to do something about it. But our governments are so influenced by the special interests. Right, here in the US, I mean, we are voting in the members of the House. And it's like a legalized bribes, what they're doing. I mean, there was a summary that some people in the House had $9 million. Oh, you're not supposed to use that for your own thing. Oh, no, you can use it to pay off everybody else, right? And so on. I mean, it's disgusting. Our healthcare system is so inferior. I mean, a very simple health practices numbers could reduce the cost by almost a half. And that's $1.5 trillion.